Well, we've all heard the terms alternative facts and fake news, and it's no secret that the truth is used and abused all around us, from politics to business to everyday life. Author and leading strategic communications consultant Hector MacDonald joins us to discuss the many sides of every story and how they shape our reality. Hector, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a great pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So my main question to you, the first question is the truth harder to find than ever?
Well, in some ways, the truth is easier to find because we have this incredible access to the world's information online. So the truth is out there in a way it's never been before. We can usually, if we're looking for the right thing, we can usually find it. But of course, the trouble is that it's surrounded by a sea of irrelevance, of misleading facts, and just downright falsehood. So in some ways, it's harder than ever to find the truth because it's just surrounded by so much other rubbish.
Right, and you talk about the 4 common types of misleading truths. What are those?
Well, the most common one that I think we're all guilty of, and it's not a sin necessarily, is cherry picking. You know, we tend to, when we shape our resumes or we populate our Facebook feed or whatever it may be, we tend to choose the facts, choose the truths that make us look good, that sound good, and we tend to downplay or just leave out altogether the more embarrassing facts. You know, the pictures of us not looking so good this morning. So cherry picking is a quite natural activity for all of us, but it gets quite serious when politicians do it with an intent to mislead. Another form that we see is context setting, where people frame a truth with context, with words, with information which distorts the meaning of that truth. And we see that where, for example, politicians quote each other out of context in order to make them look bad. We see people trying to imply a causal relationship between true events, but a relationship that just isn't there. And that's something that can be used, again, to attack others in damaging ways. And finally, I think the other misleading truth I'd love to focus on is definitions of words that we use. You know, we all rely on our common language, but sometimes people use words in deliberately misleading ways. So marketers are particularly guilty of this when they use words like pure or natural or maybe scientifically proven. You know, these things mean different things to marketers, it seems, than they mean to the rest of us.
Right, changing the meaning of words, cherry picking. I mean, corporations are guilty of that, and there's several examples of that in your book. For example, the Coca-Cola company is certainly guilty of that.
Well, it's an interesting story, this one. I don't blame Coca-Cola, but they issued an official history a few years ago which completely omitted any mention of the invention of their second most important brand, Fanta. And the reason I think they did this, it's pretty clear, is because it was invented in 1940 in wartime Germany. There's a good reason for this. There was a blockade on, so the German branch of Coca-Cola couldn't get hold of the necessary ingredients to make Coke. So they invented a different product instead, and it's been incredibly successful. So Coca-Cola naturally has chosen to omit this important detail from its corporate history, and we can understand why they don't want to be associated with Nazi Germany. But it's a story of great innovation and making do in difficult times. So it's actually quite an impressive story.
Right, just one of the stories that can be found in your book. So in the last 30 seconds, if someone picks it up, what are they really going to take away from it?
I hope 2 things. I hope they will be better equipped to detect and neutralize the misleading truths all around us in this post-truth age. But I hope they'll also find much more positive tools that can help them become better communicators, not only in work, but also just with their family and friends, in conveying more positive versions of the truth that help people obtain the goals that they're after in their lives.
The post-truth age, well, that's just a little bit scary. Hector MacDonald, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks so much.